Ho, ho, ho. Baby, this is how you start a war in a game with a community like this one. The Grimoire, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do a little piece on this because this just popped up randomly. I had a game update. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is where, in a game where us versus them is rife, you've got one side of the player base whining about second chances and, you know, pining for the game to be made autonomous, and you've got the other side that's advertised as the power role that are slowly getting stamped out patch by all the Twitch streamers and all that kind of shit. So now what we've got is we've got a system where we can pit the community against each other to design our killer, basically, or a new survivor, so that when you lock that killer in, when it does get added to the game, all the people that didn't vote for it will just fucking DC en masse. So here we go, we're going to have a look at what this actually entails, because I'm quite excited for this, to be honest. It is the Grimoire. Here it is. I don't know what this is. I assume I have to click this book. Don't know how long it's going to be either. So we'll see how it goes. It's probably going to be a short video, this, because it says they're doing it once every 2 weeks. So I assume we're just going to be voting it in parts, like some kind of Build-A-Bear kind of stuff. So click the book. Ooh, here we go. Look at this. Right. Let's have a little look. Let's read the lore. Let's have a look at the lore that did exist in this game, but then we just tanked it with the new quest system. Apparently we're having second thoughts and going back to that. Fog flies around you, chills your bones, whips across your blinking eyes. Your steps are heavy, the darkness is infinite, stretching out in every direction. Every fibre of your being tells you to keep walking. To stop here is to die. Memories claw their way back to your subconscious. Something has taken you, pulled you from your home into this black landscape of endless storms. If only the game actually resembled anything to do with this. Tell me, where is home? Where do you come from? An ordinary world. I assume I'm clicking these, aren't I? Oh, I am. Okay. Is that a scroll as in, yeah, we've got 4 choices. Okay. So I'm going to pick them based on what I want to see here. I might do a little chat through each of these, actually, just to give my take on them, and then we'll just pick the one that, you know, I'm going to go for. I want to do the actual... I just want to say this, by the way, actually, as well, because this will be something else we'll be witnessing here, because we will be witnessing this. Based on what you're seeing here, if you are watching me, I'm a streamer. I play this game. Obviously, I'm not a very big one. Please, 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 if you are going to vote on this yourself, do it of your own volition. Don't fucking vote for the same thing I'm going to vote for just because it's me. Alright? Choose what you want to see. Alright? Yeah? Don't, because this is what's going to turn into. The big streamers are probably going to stream this, maybe 1 or 2 of them are going to do it, and then everybody else is just going to pick the same fucking thing because their favourite streamer wants to see it. Yeah, there's going to be no actual thought put into it. So I'm just going to vote, right, as though just another member of the public, because I am, you know. I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, guys, vote for this, you know, vote for this. I think this is the best option, you know. Trying to persuade the herd into voting for only one thing, but it's going to happen, obviously, so we just have to hope that we pick the same one as the big streamer does. Right, an ordinary world, so this is basically the real world, innit? They did speak briefly about this. This is going to be, so if you pick this, they're going to try and pick something from, like, you know, actual serial killers and all that kind of stuff from the real world. My world is just like yours, familiar, mundane, and predictable. They've got the name of the description of our world, the world we currently live in, anyway. Due to all the politics and all that kind of shit, they've got that fucking 100% down on the mark. Familiar, mundane, and most importantly, fucking predictable. A collapsed world. The apocalypse isn't coming, it is happening. My world is unravelling, swallowed whole by chaos and ruin, so this is the end of the world kind of scenario. It's a strong contender. A touch world. In my world, supernatural events are rare but undeniably real. Most people go their entire lives without witnessing them. This strikes me as the vampire werewolf kind of category. An arcane world. In my reality, when what you call the arcane is our science, gods are fuel, and humanity believes it holds the reins. Don't know what this is, because it's kind of the same as touched, in a way. But this is obviously deities and stuff like that, innit? Gods are fuel and humanity believes it holds the reins. So this would be something like your plagues, you know, all that kind of stuff. Plague is the killer. Potentially your singularities as well. By virtue of gods, because that's what singularity is. He has grandiose delusions because he's a robot. Based on these, I'm going to rule an ordinary world out just because I think the world we actually live in, if you want my actual opinion on it, fellas, I think it's a fucking boring existence, quite honestly. We're going a bit deep here and I'm going off the rails a little bit, but it is a chat video. This isn't anything to do with Dead by Daylight as well, it's just my actual outlook on the world. You know, you watch the movies, you watch all the fantasy stuff and all that kind of stuff, and whilst these people are actually fighting for their lives, you know, it's war zones and all that kind of shit, you always think it would actually be more fun though, wouldn't it, to exist in these worlds where there is actually all this kind of shit going on. Meanwhile, we just live here where we're just a bunch of literal fucking brainless apes trying to blow each other up and being the most counterproductive existences on the fucking planet by choice, rather than just literally coming to the unified logical conclusion that the only way we're actually going to get off of this rock before it explodes is by actually working together as a species, because we're all the same fucking genome. But you know, nah, let's fight over religion and geopolitics that in the grand scheme of things both have zero fucking impact whatsoever on what our existence is gonna, or our fate is gonna be. A collapsed world. The apocalypse isn't coming, it is happening, so this is obviously the end of the life thing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this kind of hints at Evolve, because Evolve was the apocalypse. It doesn't really look like it is in the game, but that world is a dying one. It's being invaded by hyper-intelligent, super mutant aliens that adapt to literally everything you throw at them. And the actual main storyline of Evolve was that the hunters lose. It was damage limitation, the rounds that you were doing, where you were fighting one monster in the 4v1 setting, but that one monster was literally one in a fucking army of millions. It was the end of the world. It was about trying to just get everybody off planets, bounce between planets, and delay the inevitable, basically. So this does appeal to me, a collapsed world. I would, not even from an Evolved sense, I think a collapsed, an apocalypse type of setting is a really cool place to make a killer from. Hang on a minute. So am I picking... Oh, hang on. Am I doing a survivor here? I don't want to click anything in case it decides something for me. So, that's survivor, innit? Right. Change your plan. Right, okay. So this is for survivors. But again, I think from an apocalypse setting, a survivor would be pretty cool. Somebody that's fucking seen some shit, you know, or exists in a timeline where they're presently seeing some shit, either by aliens or anything, that kind of stuff. That kind of rules these two out then, for me, if it is a survivor, because these two basically just means we're going to get some fucking werewolf or power trip kind of character as a survivor, and I'm getting sick of them, to be honest. I do prefer it back in the day when it was literally just real grounded people that were actually scared of the realm they were in, rather than going in looking for a fucking fight, you know? So them two are getting tossed away for me, to be honest. I'm going to do Collapse World, honestly. I think that's how we vote in it, and then we go over to Killer. Yeah, it's not doing anything else. So Killers, you emerge from the silence, the ceiling, the walls, the floor, the statues that surround you. They are all made of stone. A crypt, a vault, your head swims. You roll to get to your feet when you come to face with a puddle pooling in a worn-out groove set into the floor. There's a puddle in the stone in the floor, ladies and gentlemen, in layman's terms. You stare into the rippling water. The form that stares back at you is difficult to make out, but its shape, your shape, soon becomes evident. So you're the killer in that instance. Right, tell me, what shape do you see staring back at you? Grounded. An unhinged, cold-blooded human, cruelty personified. Examples, here we go. The Legion, the Trapper, serial killer. Okay, yeah, for the same reason I just mentioned at the beginning of that, because I thought it was Killers. You know. Supernatural, a dark presence, the powers unknown, tied to a mysterious world. Plague. The Wraith. Vampire, yeah. How the fuck is Plague supernatural? She's a Babylonian priestess who's been, like, literally locked into perma-plague, which is why she's vomiting everywhere. She's kept alive by the entity, whilst also being afflicted with the plague. That's not supernatural. And I put the spirit, the wraith, all that kind of stuff. I don't know, sure, whatever. Otherworldly, a maddening, incomprehensible horror from beyond reality. The dredge, the unknown, yep. Eldritch abomination. This is a very relatable category to me. More monsters is always good. Chimeric, twisted creation of nature, somewhat natural, definitely monstrous. Artist, the singularity. I had to think then, because they did mention the singularity, but Larry is, I suppose, yeah, Larry is more chimeric than actually otherworldly. I'm just thinking base monster because he is actually a construct that's been taken over by the alien parasite. It's very close, fellas, to be honest, for me on this one. It's otherworldly or chimeric, I think. So the categories are very similar to me. So, by rights, based on this, if I was to think of Evolve, right, and obviously I'm not trying to get an Evolve monster put into DVD because it wouldn't work anyway. They're not human-sized, the monsters involved, they're literally 20-30 feet tall, massive fucking monsters, you know. So it wouldn't work. Somebody actually mentioned that at some point. They said, what do you think if they were to, you know, in a timeline where it existed, if they did a Evolve crossover, and I said it wouldn't work. It just wouldn't. You'd have to you'd have to put one of the entity marks on the actual monsters, especially if you're going to do Wraith, mate, because she was telepathic and she could fucking teleport between planets and worlds. So it just wouldn't work in terms of the game itself. But this one would be the evolved monsters, otherworldly, because they are aliens. And this is always cool. But again, there's also chimeric. This is really cool as well, because obviously there's stuff like this. But based on this, I am probably going to go otherworldly for this, because Dredge and Unknown are a bit more appealing, because Artist is here, and I think Artist is cool, because she is kind of a bird combined with a girl, which is, you know, it does look pretty cool in terms of it is unique. And obviously my main, Larry, is actually here in chimeric, but I just want more monsters, boys, to be honest. I want some more creatures in the game. We have Unknown and Dredge, that's it, at the moment, in terms of actual, you know, proper monsters. So, there it is. That's going to be my takes on this. I would have liked the Apocalypse thing for killers, though. Maybe some kind of super zombie, or something like that, but, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, that's going to be my first two. We'll do another video on this. I'll do each one for Survivor and Killer, see what happens, eh? But yeah, there it is. There's a Grimoire, as it is. Can't wait to join what side of a battle, you know, we're going to be on, because, as I say, this community is going to rip each other apart about this, and we're going to have fucking mass DCs and all that kind of stuff. You might think I'm being cynical, you might think I'm being negative, but, you know, just watch, because everything I say comes true that I fucking mentioned in the previous days, but it is what it is. So there it is, fellas. See you on the next one.